Welcome back to another episode of the Girl Stop Playing podcast. It's your favorite homegirl, Coriel, here to encourage you to stop playing with your potential and start working for what you want in life and in love. You already know that I'm bringing you the information and the conversations to help you make the money and get the honey. You can have it all as long as you are willing to work. And on today's episode, you can just prepare to be inspired by this working woman's story. Today, I get to introduce you to Courtney Smith, who is a stay-at-home mom turned multi-millionaire mogul. Welcome to Girls Stop Playing. I'm happy to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Of course. So I don't know if you listen to Girl Stop Playing or not, but I love to have my guests introduce themselves so that we can make sure we put some respect on your name. We know that you have a bio, but who is Courtney Smith? And what do you want the people to know about who you are in this season?
Yes. So, as you said, my name is Courtney Smith. I am the founder and CEO of Cristina's Curls. And Cristina's Curls is an organic hair care and skincare line for children. I got the idea when my infant, Cristina, was battling cradle cap and eczema as an infant. So I took my experience as a licensed esthetician with my education and formulation and made products to help her combat the issues that she was dealing with. Yes.
I always love the stories that are literally like the kitchen stories. Like I was doing this thing in my kitchen, trying to solve a problem for myself or for someone I love. And now I'm able to spread the word about what I found that worked. Those are usually the most successful businesses. The ones that aren't started by like, oh, I have this genius idea. You know, it's usually those ones that are like, I have this big need and mama is going to figure this thing out. You are also the hair care provider for my baby, Kairos Curls. Okay. The Kairos Curls sponsored by Cristina's Curls. Y'all know one thing about me. And if y'all don't follow me on Instagram, then maybe you don't know this, but I am anal when it comes to what I am putting in and on myself and my children. And so when I was going through all of the baby products and all of the hair options, there are so many quote unquote baby versions of products that are still full of very harmful chemicals. And so your product was one of really the only ones that I found that was truly a clean product and that actually had like a great result. Because a lot of times you have to sacrifice like the toxic chemicals for it to actually look like something. And so that's just a little endorsement based on my personal experience. I have literally been using your products and only your products since trying them way back when I had my first baby. So shout out to you and really creating a product that does its thing and that does what it says, you know, that it's going to do and is, you know, not harmful for our babies, because we got to be mindful of those things. Sorry, I can really get on my soapbox when it comes to this. But we have to be mindful.
I thank you for that. You've always supported. And whenever I see your order come through, I'm like, oh, put her some extra stuff in there. You know, watch the podcast. And I was with you before you even got married. So.
Oh, way back.
Back when.
I love it. Well, listen, this is like full circle then. I love this opportunity to have you here. And your story is so inspirational. And I always love to find out what it took behind the business, like what it takes to manage all of the things that, you know, the things that we can celebrate and support on social media. What does it really take to make this thing happen? So I want to go back to what you were doing prior to the Cristina Curls business side of things. So what was life like maybe when you were making the product or, you know, before it became like an actual business? What was your life like?
Okay. So I started off as a licensed esthetician. At that time, my focus was services. I had a day spa called Beauty and Grace Day Spa. So I did mainly facials and skincare, body treatments. That was my focus. And then I got married to a wonderful man. And he was like, I want you to just focus on being a mom and a wife and growing our family. So I closed down my day spa, and for 6 years I was a stay-at-home mom before I had Christina. Just enjoying being a wife, being a mother. I had a 10-year-old daughter at the time. She's 20 now. I had a 10-year-old daughter, and she was getting ready to go to middle school and high school. So I was just really enjoying that time with her. So I was a stay-at-home mom before Christina's curls. And I was
Okay,
enjoying
we
the mom.
gotta we gotta pause. We gotta pause because the thing about it is that sounds so good for so many people.
Yeah.
The reality of it is the fear that comes along with it, the wrestling, and this might not be your reality, but for a lot of women, the thought of, oh, I would love a man to provide for me and tell me, baby, sit down somewhere. But the reality of giving up this thing that I've built, this other baby that I've birthed in the form of your in your case, your day spa. How did you, or did you even have to negotiate with yourself to make that decision? Or did you say, okay, baby, you want to close down? Let me hang this sign up on the door and I'm coming on home.
I said, "You want me to close down? Let me hang this sign up on the door and I'm coming." And I have to
I
be
love
honest,
that for you.
I was a single mom for 10 years. So I was working hard. So when I met my husband, and I was in this position to be a mom and to be a wife, I took it. Now, would I have done that with a boyfriend? Probably not. But a husband, that's different. You know what kind of man you're dealing with. You should know what kind of man you're dealing with. So it was easy for me. It was that was an easy season for me. Yes.
So, okay, I have a follow up question to that. What if that was a new conversation right now in this season with Christina's curls? If the conversation became, you know what, baby, I think this is all getting to be, a lot. I'm proud of what you have done, but I think we just need to focus on the family. What would you say?
First of all, he probably wouldn't believe me because he knows I'm just like so into Christina's curls right now. But he would be supportive. He definitely would be supportive, because he knows how passionate I am about being present with our children. Um, so yeah, I think he would be supportive. I have to run that question by him and see what his response is.
No, if he told you that he wanted you, like, baby, this is doing too much. I want you to come on home. What if he
Whew.
presented that same thing now?
Oh, now that changes things. Um, we would have to have a conversation about it, but ultimately, I probably would, I probably would sell the business. Yeah. I-
Okay, listen. This is marriage, baby. These are the conversations. It's like when it comes down to it, there are tough conversations that need to be had, and I love that you saw it as an opportunity. Like, baby, I'm about to sit down somewhere, and I love that for you. And that should be what we should be able to do. But so many of us are, gotta go get it, gotta do this thing that if we do sit down somewhere, we feel guilty about it. We feel like we need to be doing the most. We feel like we can sit down for a little bit, but I gotta get back up and running. And so I love that you had did all that running and working and grinding. And you're like, baby, sit down. You provided me with the seats. I will gladly sit down. I
yeah,
love that for you.
that was the least of my concern. I'm like, I'm sitting down. I'm enjoying my kids.
Did you ever
So,
feel, and I guess your experience is a little different because you've had the mix of the single mom season, but then the stay at home mom season, and now the entrepreneurial mom season. But have you ever in any of those seasons felt like your identity was compromised or getting lost in the titles of mother or wife?
no, no, I don't think so. I don't know. I never battled with that. And I met my husband. I'm 41. I'll be 42 this year. So my 20s, I lived. I did everything and, was grinding. So when I met my husband at 30, 31, I was ready for that new season of being a wife and being a mom. So I think that big part too. where you are in life. And my husband and I had very real, raw, candid conversations about how we wanted our life to be, how we wanted our family to flow, how we wanted to raise our children. So we were always on the same page. We were always on the same page about our vision for our family and our life.
I think that's what makes or what contributes to things being seamless is the communication as the foundation. Because when we hear all these statistics about the reasons why, marriages fail or why couples end up in divorce, whatever those reasons are, whether it's finance, infidelity, yada, 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 the foundation of all of that is communication. So if we can figure out how to communicate about these tough issues, because there's going to be an issue that could be a tough issue basically every day of the week, especially when you bring in kids and parenting decisions into the conversation. There are tough conversations that need to be had on a regular basis. So if you can figure out how to communicate, I think that you can literally just avoid like that whole thing. Like that, at least on that level, you can avoid those problems and like be fighting about something for real and not just the fact that y'all can't even talk to each other.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
So what was the decision like when what made you make the decision that you were going to transition from just creating this product for your daughter to, okay, I'm going to sell this. I want to, package it. I want to, offer this to other people. What was that decision?
So it didn't start off as a business per se. I was making the products and posting before and after pictures on social media because we were in the middle of COVID. I think we had just shut down like 3 weeks after having her. The whole world shut down. So everybody was on social media. So I was posting before and after pictures. And then I had Facebook friends and people who I didn't know were messaging me. And they were like, hey, can you make me some, for my baby? I'll Cash App you. So I literally ran the business per se through Cash App for like the first 2 or 3 months until Cash App shut me down. They were like, you got too much money coming through here. You got to make a business account or you got to, do something else. So I still was not really ready to make it a business because like I said, I was enjoying my season of being a stay-at-home mom. I had just had Cristina. She was about 2 months old. So it was not my mindset to start a business. But once Cash App shut me down, my husband was like, well, why don't you, get a website made? At least you'll be able to, get your orders, the addresses and all of that on the website, not them DMing you their address and Cash Apping you. So I'm like, okay, that's cute. I'll do that. And I got a website made and it just blew up from there. I think one lady posted Christina's curls and it went viral. And that Friday, I think we made like $14,000 or $15,000 on one day. And after that, it just took off. It took off.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the confirmation, baby. That's the confirmation that yes, we are headed in the right direction. Now, what is on the other side of that, though? What did it take to fulfill? Were you already prepared? Were you hand making these products at the time? Like, what was the fulfillment process at that time when the post went viral?
It was a lot. I was still hand making them. My daughter at the time, she was 16. She was packaging them for me. So we were literally doing everything by hand. I was answering emails, um, packaging orders, making the product. Like it was a two-man show, her and I, for the first maybe 6 or 7 months until I hired someone to help me. But it was all hands on deck with our family when we first started.
So fast forward to now, you are official, legit, multi, millions of dollars in revenue. What has your fulfillment process transitioned to from the 2-man team? What is it looking like now?
So we do have a 3PL, third party fulfillment center that does it now. I have a marketing team. I have a social media team. I have PR. It's completely changed from there within
It
3
is official like a whistle, baby. I got an email today, this morning. And you know, the entrepreneur in me, when I get an email, I'm looking at different things than just like, oh, there's a sale. You know, I'm looking at like the layout of the email and the graphics on the email. And I literally just today got one of your emails and was like, she has a legit team. That's what I said to myself. I said, oh, she has a legit team. Like, this was one of the questions that I wanted to ask you, because so many people have that kitchen moment but don't know how to transition it into something official. So many of our people, you know, and historically have these amazing ideas, these brilliant, life-changing, you know, like the secret sauce that can solve somebody's problem, but they don't know how to make that transition from homemade business to legit business. So for someone who's literally in a kitchen whipping it up right now, listening to this podcast episode, and they want to get to that next level, maybe they're not going to jump into retail tomorrow, but transitioning, what is your advice from out of the kitchen to official business?
Well, you definitely need a team. Even if it's one person that you bring on, you need someone to be able to delegate tasks to. And I always tell people, they're like, well, do I spend money on marketing? Do I do social media or IG ads? Email marketing is free money. Not free money, but that's your platform. Nobody can, take your IG page down, or they can take your IG page down, but they can't take your email list. So I always tell people to put your money into building your email marketing. That's like number one. That's your list is your list forever. So that's one I would definitely tell somebody, is to focus on building your email list. I send out emails where I want feedback. How are the products? How is the time with shipping? Just really being familiar with what your customers want and what their expectations are, so that you're able to meet that.
And then when it comes to the team, because especially in a product-based business, yes, you absolutely need a team. If you are hand making anything, or even if you're not hand making, the packaging, the fulfillment process, if you're doing that on your own, you definitely need at least somebody to, hey, you put the label on it. Like you need someone. But when it comes to the management of these people, that's where it can get a little tricky. Now, I know this ain't your first rodeo. Like, you had a day spa, so I'm sure you have had experience, managing people and having to delegate. But for someone who has not had that experience and who does not want to have to learn all of the lessons the hard way, what is your advice when it comes to managing a team, just like working with people in that leadership capacity?
So I do think my past of having a day spa did prepare me for working with individuals. So I'm the last person to address the issue. My operations manager, she is a pit bull in a skirt. Okay. So by the time an issue gets to me, it is a big deal. But finding somebody that works as hard as you, if not harder, is very important when it comes to management. Like, if you have a manager and you're having to stay on them, that's not going to work, because you're not able to relax. You're not able to relax in that, knowing that, okay, this person is taking care of it. So when I hired someone, I was looking for specific characteristics of that person. Are they on time? If their work time is 8 o'clock, are they strolling in here at 8 o'clock, or are they here at 7:50, 7:55? Am I having to remind them that they're supposed to do and know to do on their own? So just make sure whoever you put in charge in that management position is someone that you can 110% depend and lean on. Yeah.
So I love that you said, I don't even talk to these people about these things. She going to handle that. And then if they got to talk to me, baby, it's a real problem. And I think that knowing your personality type, knowing how you, like your conflict resolution style, knowing how you show up and how you need to show up. And if you can't do it, who needs to show up for you? All of those things, I think, play a role in our entrepreneurial endeavors and our, professional workspaces. But so often I feel like we, and Black women specifically, try to separate our personality from like how we show up professionally, but that's a part of it. And if we're not self-aware to say, okay, I need me a pit bull who can say X, Y, and Z, and not to say that you can't do these things, but I know who I need to have in these positions to be able to do this job. I think that self-awareness is crucial, and sometimes the lack of self-awareness can hinder us or hold us back from getting to that next level.
Yeah, and see, with me, it wasn't that I didn't want to handle these things, but I would walk through, um, I would walk in the office and not immediately I'm worried about the printer. So now something so simple as a printer has taken 20 minutes of my time when I could be focusing on something else, or interview or confirming, a new product. So I just had to, in my mind, I'm like, I got to delegate. Like, she can handle the minor things. If the printer is jammed, you guys got that. If the order for the labels are incorrect, handle that. Me, I need to be able to handle the big things. So I have a great team, all women. I love it. Even my marketing team is all women. So it's like girl power. And I think that plays a big
Yes.
part. They deliver for me because very I wanted to hire women. I wanted women on my team. And they show up. We all have the same, all of us have kids. Of course, all of them use Christina's curls, and we have the same goal in mind. So I've been blessed with an amazing team. I don't too often have to, say, hey, this isn't working. People tend to self-correct. And maybe that's the age group too, because I have mature women working for me that value their job and value what we do. So I've been blessed in that sense. But in the beginning, I was being pulled to handle little things like the printer
Mm-hmm.
or incorrect labels ordered. And I'm like, I just spent a whole hour on this and I could have been handling, bigger issues that they can't do,
Mm-hmm.
that they can't address. So,
So, in all of the success and a seemingly overnight success, even though we know that even your previous career is a
yeah.
part of, what it took to get here. Christina's curls didn't start in the kitchen. It started with the day spa. It started with, it's been in you. It just came out in this form. So we know that part of it. But even with the seemingly, just everything is smooth sailing, what has been your biggest challenge in this business, in Christina's Curls, and growing from, I think it's what, is it 3 million in 5 years, 5 million in 3 years?
3 million in 3.5 years. Yes.
3 years and three, put some respect on it. 3 million in 3.5 years. What has been the biggest challenge in from 0 to 3 million?
The biggest challenge has probably been me deciding if I want to stay direct to consumer or go into retail, because retail, that's a whole different beast. That's a whole different responsibility. And right now it's manageable. I can still be mom, still be wife. I don't have the mom guilt as often. I still have it sometimes. But, I have retail stores approaching me, and I'm actually going into retail stores. I have 6 retail stores that I will be in this fall, but they're smaller ones. But the bigger ones, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready. So just trusting that I'm making the right decision for my business, that I'm not getting too far ahead of the responsibility I want to take on. That's probably been my biggest issue, you know.
Good problems to have.
It is. It is.
But baby, Shark Tank will have you out here really feeling like retail is like, oh my God, it's the biggest challenge ever. So congratulations, on what you have decided to do so far, and definitely praying for you and what you decide to do moving forward. But baby, those shelves ain't seen nothing yet. If y'all are out here, and we ain't gonna name no names, but I'm telling you, the quality of the product. Let me ask you this, since I got you here. How do you maintain the integrity of the product? Because we've seen these products that started out with the intent to have natural, have organic, have clean, have, all of the things. And then they go to the, targets of the world, and their formulation has to change in order to be able to keep up with the demand. Is that avoidable? Just in all honesty, is it even possible to maintain the original integrity once you cross over to retail?
I think it is. I think one problem that a lot of companies have is they don't really know much about the products. And let me tell you why I say that. I'm an esthetician, so I know ingredients, I know formulations, and you do have to have preservatives. I mean, you just have to, or you're going to have a bigger issue than eczema. You're going to have, a bigger issue. So I think it is avoidable, but when you are going into retail, you have to do it slowly so that the price that you're spending on inventory is not you're not taking a huge hit to where you're like, okay, this really hit my pocket. I got to compromise. All right. Instead of using the organic preservative, I need y'all to put the preservative that's only going to cost me 2 cents per bottle in it. So I think that plays a big part. But I know some products that I use, adult line, that are organic and have, preservatives in them and are in retail. But I think it's just seeing where I am and comparing it to other companies. I think that's the difference is it's slow and steady. Slow and steady wins the race. But when Target says they're ready to put your product in 30, 40 stores, 50 stores, that's when it's like, ooh, okay.
What you gonna do?
Yeah.
What you gonna do? And this is the difference between being in the game and being in the stands, just talking a bunch of shit. Because we will be on Instagram calling people sellouts, telling people that they know that they doing the people wrong. But baby, if that check came your direction, if that offer, that opportunity, that conversation, if you could pull up a seat to the table, you would be having a much different conversation.
Yeah.
Much different.
And it's so sad because we're the only ones that, from what I see, give each other slack for, selling or bringing in a partnership or something like that. But until you run a business, you don't know what's all involved. You just don't know. It's in a this be it's a different beast than a service business. With my service business, I didn't lose any money. If I didn't have any clients, I didn't have to be there that day. I didn't waste any product. And it was just, it was what it was. But products, it's like, okay, I got $100,000 worth of product. I got to move this. So products is different. It's
Yeah, I think in our community, it's literally like we ain't never had nothing. As bad as it sounds, it's we've never had anything, and we haven't been taught how to have anything. Like, so it's a rinse and repeat. We ain't never had nothing, so we ain't gonna have nothing. And because we ain't had nothing, we still ain't gonna have nothing. And because it's just like over and over and over again. And it's the ignorance of business that we look at it as a bad thing or condemn someone for selling or equate selling with selling out, when truly the ideal situation for most entrepreneurs is to exit that business. It's to build something to the point where it is sellable and you can get the hell on and do what you want to do. So, but we don't even know that. So I think there's so many conversations that are missing that we just end up, attacking each other from like a place of true ignorance and that we really just don't know. And that's why we, have a hard time growing. So hopefully these conversations can bridge the gap and can provide a little bit more awareness. That's why I like to ask, like, girl, what's really going on behind the scenes? Tell me for real, so that we could just get a better understanding and not just be in the comments making a whole bunch of assumptions and not really knowing what we're talking about. So
because everybody has an opinion, and it's easier to tell someone on the outside looking in what they need to be doing, with their business. But until you're in it, until you're running the business, until you're writing those checks for that invoice and those those purchase orders, you don't have a clue of what's going on behind the scenes and the sacrifices that person is making for that business. A lot of us bootstrap our business till we get to a certain point. So all of that plays a part. Who wants to do that forever? Yeah.
Right. There's no growth. The opportunity for generational wealth comes in scaling and sometimes selling. What are we doing this for? Not so that the business can leave when you leave. That defeats the purpose. So for a mom listening to this, she might not be a stay-at-home mom, but she's a mom who knows that I feel like we don't talk enough about postpartum, and not postpartum depression, but just like the postpartum period. We don't talk enough about that transition, and that I got to come up with a better term other than the death, the grieving process of like your former life, whether you're a first time mom or not. Like that version of you before you had that particular baby is no longer here, right? Whether again this is your first baby or not, once you go from a mom of one to a mom of two, you're a different person. From a mom of zero to a mom of one, you are a different person. And one of the things that I think we don't talk about is the opportunity to get stuck in that season of transition, because you aren't who you used to be, but you don't know who you are anymore. And so a lot of moms listening to this could still be stuck in that space, even if their children are 10 years old, not even just a baby. But when you get lost in the unknowing of who you are, you forget who you are because you're so wrapped up in motherhood. For the mom listening who knows that she's being called to do something, she knows that she has a purpose beyond just parenting, and she needs to stop playing with her potential, what is your advice? What is a word of encouragement that you can leave her with?
So the first thing I would say is find out what your passion and your purpose is. Really take some time and say, okay, what do I want to do? What do I enjoy doing? For me, it was skincare and beauty. It always has been, before Christina's Curls. So starting this business came easy to me in that sense, but I did grieve my 6 years of being able to be at home and just focus on the kids. But I always kept in mind that this isn't forever. Cristina isn't going to be a baby forever. Christina's Curls, I'm not going to be in the process of building it forever. So I find comfort and just rest in that season that I'm in, because it's a season. It's not a lifetime. It's going to come, it's going to go, and then you're going to be looking back like, oh, that wasn't so bad, or, oh, I missed that, because I have moments where I miss packaging the orders. I miss waking up and looking at the Shopify and it's like, oh, I got 50 orders today. So I'm really focusing on enjoying the season that I'm in. Yes.
That's good. Sitting in that season. We'd be so ready to get to the next one and then be looking back like, dang, what was I thinking? It's like when you see the posts and the moms are like looking at their high school picture, not moms, but we the 40s, okay, the older millennials, we looking at the high school picture like, I can't believe I thought I was fat. Like the nerve of me to have been complaining back then. So that's literally what we do year after year. It's like we complaining about now, but we're going to be wishing we could get back here soon.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. You just have to rest in that season and know, you know what? I am right where I'm supposed to be right now, and just enjoy it.
I love it. Well, listen, the fact that you looking the way you looking, being 40, however old you say you are, that in and of itself is inspiration. That it's never too late to start. It's never, we be counting ourselves out. Listen, let me tell you all the people you're inspiring right now. The single moms who are sick of Kevin Samuel's shit, talking about they don't nobody want you and can't nobody. Sis is right here as living proof of all of the things, baby. Not only did he show up, but he showed out. He showed up and said, sis, here is a seat. Please rest yourself Rest yourself in this season. Let me provide you with an opportunity to sit down somewhere. So for just being here as a source of inspiration of what's possible, you don't have to rush it. When the time is right, all of those pieces of the puzzle are going to align themselves to create exactly what God already had lined up anyway. I love it.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
So
It's a
for the
blessing.
people who want to try Christina's curls, how can they find you on social media and where can they shop online?
Yes, so we are at Christina's Curls, and it's an underscore CRISTINAS CURLS Christina's Curls. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and you can shop with us at Christina'sCurls.com.
Check her out. It sounded like a little infomercial, but I promise you, baby, we go way back, okay? Way, way, way back. And I promise her products are legit. Get in where you fit in. You know, we are all about supporting and celebrating Black businesses and especially Black woman owned businesses. So check her out. I'll make sure all of her info is linked down below. Share this episode with a friend. I hope that you are feeling inspired and encouraged to go on after the money and the honey. I love you, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Peace. So if you enjoyed that episode, I'm willing to bet you are absolutely going to get your entire life when you log on to everybodylied.com. Y'all, I just launched my brand new blog, which is for women like me who are stepping into the newness of life, okay? Your girl got engaged, got pregnant, got married, and became a mom all in less than a year, and life came at me fast. As life was life, and I realized that a lot of the things that I had been led to believe were a lie. Survey says that was a lie. And so I am sharing all of my lessons learned and what I have discovered to be the truth, along with some resources on my new blog, everybodylied.com. Come on over if you are a woman who is experiencing the newness of life. I'll see you there.